that you hadn't had before as far as being a woman, having an opinion, and staying true to it. Has that been very difficult for you?
It's been difficult because I'm still blacklisted in Hollywood, so it's been this real struggle. And the Trump photo, under a 2-month federal investigation, I never had the chance to not be investigated. They just opened a file on me and all this other stuff. So from the beginning, I have been saying I need to speak out about this because if it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone, and it has happened to other people after me. But I'm actually still the first person in the history of the country to have a sitting United States president choose a private citizen, much less a female comedian, and as the Trump family would say, try to decimate her. I'm quoting Don Jr., or as I call him, Tiny Mushroom Dick. Thank you. I'll be here all week. And so, I had to change my whole business model, and I went on my first world tour. So the picture that almost took me down actually made me global. And one thing I realized is that even the president can't stop people from buying tickets. And then I made a special, which nobody in Hollywood will buy or even take by call. So I decided to make it into a feature, and it's premiering at South by Southwest. And I'm really excited because I've started doing speeches about the First Amendment. So I got to do one for 1,000 venture capitalists, and it was so funny. It's all these 25-year-old white straight guys, and they were on their phones until I told them what happens when you're detained at an airport and they take your phone and your device, and they all put their phones down and started listening. And then 3 weeks ago, I got to give a speech about the First Amendment at Oxford University, and I didn't even go to college. I started doing commercials at 17.
So what do you have to say to people that want to speak up and are either put down very quickly or are afraid to do so?
I think you have to. I had to speak up because I really had a choice. It was either go down, and, I'm 58 years old. And so I just kept thinking, when I kick the bucket, somebody's going to look up my story. And I don't want any woman, person of color, gay person to see, they were able to take that old red-haired you-know-what down. And so that's been my first job, is to just stay standing so people can see, you can survive this. And then trying to get the messaging out there. And at the same time, what I'm loving is you've got, Michael Cohen is going to testify, and AMI flipping, because AMI owns not only the Inquirer, but Us Weekly and In Touch. And, they've written articles saying I have lupus or that I'm bald and things that make me unemployable. So it's been a real campaign. So I have to keep up on all of it. So I think that people have to speak out. We're all in this world now with social media where you're going to get flooded by bots anyway if you say anything against this administration. So just know that going in. But I do think it's important to keep speaking out because, it ain't just me anymore. It's pretty much it's John Brennan, it's just everybody.
So there's also many other things going on besides the administration. The Jussie Smollett thing in the past week has been shocking, and could you have ever imagined something like this would have happened?
No, and the sad thing is, I've been an advocate of the LGBTQIA 2, 3, 4, 5 community for so long that, all it makes me do is it makes me think of all the cases that didn't get any attention or the light of day. So the most important thing is all people have to remember is, regardless of Jussie or whatever his motivations were, these are the types of crimes that happen on a daily basis. Number one, to the trans community, the trans youth community, but in particular, the African American gay community, male and female, and also to women. I mean, as a 58-year-old woman, I'm a diversity hire myself in some ways. And so the important thing is that with this administration and the rise of hate crimes, we have to recall that it's easy to get distracted by Jussie, but when you look at the stats of hate crimes on the rise, 30% up since Trump's announcement, 30%. And, he refuses to obviously say that there's a connection, but there is. So like I said, I've been in this ally business and canvassing and testified on the Hill for Don't Ask, Don't Tell and all this other stuff for so many years and decades.